Welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and we are back for day 6, I think it is, of my 12 cast-ons of Christmas craziness. I will be casting on today with this beautiful skein of yarn that my lovely friend Erin, who is Dufferin24 on Instagram, she sent me this as a Christmas gift. And the yarn is from Lismore Sheep Farm. I'm not sure what the colourway is. It says lot 33 there, but then when you swish the label round, it says sock yarn number 2909, and it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. I think it's a sport weight yarn because there's 115 grams in this skein and it's 345 metres. I puzzled for a while to decide what I wanted to cast on with this. I just love the beautiful colours in this yarn. And sport weight's not a weight that we get here readily in the UK. I lost about an hour or so having a poke round on Ravelry, and I found some amazing hat patterns, a few cowl patterns, a couple of beautiful sock patterns, but in the end I've decided to cast on a project by Hohi Locatelli which actually calls for fingering weight yarn, about the same sort of meterage, but the project that I'm going to be casting on is the Paris in Berlin cowl. It's kind of a cross between a cowl and a shawl, in that I don't have a picture of it because I'm not able to print decent pictures on my printer, but it starts, you sort of start knitting it flat and then you join it, so you get the join at the back of a cowl, but then you get quite a deep sort of triangle shape in the front. Didn't really explain that well at all. But you can go and look that up on Ravelry if you are interested. Perhaps I'll try and pop in a picture. So yeah, it seems like quite an adaptable pattern. I saw that Grace from Babbles Travelling Yarns was knitting this in her Vlogmas videos, and she indicated that it was quite an adaptable pattern, so I think I will be able to get away with it. The fact that it's cowl-like in that it stays around your neck, and then you sort of knit down in a V, means that I should be able to just leave out a few rows if I need to. It'd be nice to use every single drop of this beautiful, beautiful yarn. So yeah, they are the plans. Another set of 4mm needles required. I am quickly running out of those. I think I've got one set left which I'll be using, and there's at least one more project that I'm planning to cast on that needs 4mm. Luckily most of my sets are interchangeables, and I was meant to get organised and get all my needles sorted before I embarked on this cast on adventure, but some of the projects have changed. I did plan, and then yeah, the plan's kind of gone out of the window and I've just been casting on whatever I fancy really. But in a couple of days time I shall be back to work, back to the shop, so I can always get myself some more needles if required. So I find it a bit annoying changing the tips between projects. It shouldn't be annoying because that's what interchangeables are. One of the uses that interchangeables are for really, but yeah, the last thing I want to do is hunt around in other project bags to find my required needles if I want to pick up a project. So I think more 4mm needles will be in my future. Anyway, I am going to stop waffling and I'm going to go and wind up this beauty. to you about my progress on yesterday's project. It's the Paris in Berlin Cowl by Johi Locatelli. I have decided to keep it in my lovely Elderwood Crafts project bag, which I picked up at the Knit Tea Retreat back in October. I've got the Knit Tea Retreat pin. I've also got a pin on there from Katin Beeg. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. I love how that pin looks, the greens against the lovely green of this bag. So I got to the point yesterday evening where I have knit the portion that is done flat. So as you can see, this pattern starts out somewhat like an ordinary shawl, and then at this point I believe I'm going to join these two ends together so that this becomes your neck opening in effect, and then you start knitting round and round and sort of build this point out. I'm really enjoying how this lovely yarn from Lismore Farm is knitting up. There is a texture in the top part of this cowl. You can't really see it a lot in the sort of variegated yarn, but I thought it was still worth putting in because I figured the odd sort of change of stitch along with the change of the stitch count would help to prevent lots of pooling. I still have some pooling occur. As you can see, I've got a flash of gold here and there's sort of a bit down here as well, but I don't mind that at all. I actually love how this yarn is working up, and this lovely gold colour, oh, it's just gorgeous. I definitely want to get some more of that sort of colour into my stash. It's beautiful. So yeah, as I say, I've at the point now where I get to join up and knit round and round and round, so I'm quite happy with that as my first day's progress on my Paris in Berlin cowl. I don't think there's much else to say about this pattern. I'm knitting it on my 4mm Symphony needles. At the moment I've got several stitch markers in, marking the edges and the centre point. I think I'll be taking out the edges because that will be the bit that gets joined up, but I assume I'll probably still keep these centre markers in. Just using these lovely simple hearts. I use these quite a lot. They've got like a wired, what do you call that, a wired loop. So these fit over a lot of different size needles, and the hearts are quite sort of small and delicate, so they hang out of the way and they don't get too caught up in your knitting once you get going. So yeah, this yarn's beautiful to work with. I've still got plenty left. I haven't weighed the ball, but I would say this is probably over 50 grams. So I reckon this will make a reasonable cowl, even though this is a slightly thicker weight than the yarn used in the pattern. So if I just pop that around my neck, I can't really stretch it out too much on the needles, but already I'm sort of down to quite a good level for a cowl, so it's only going to get bigger. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how that progresses when I get back to it. The next part of the cowl has a different kind of texture stitch on it. It looks quite interesting, not something I've done before, but you basically slip some stitches, create sort of an excess loop of yarn, and then you pick that up and knit it, so you get sort of little strands of yarn on the front of your work. So I'm interested to see how that comes along. So I have already got my project picked out for today's cast on, so I am going to finish off this video here and gather the things for the next cast on and come back and talk to you about that in the next video. Thanks for watching me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.